Welcome to the Weekends Over podcast. I'm your host, Alex. I'm here with Max. Max, say hello.
Hello.
Taylor Thompson, say hello.
What's up, everybody?
We had a really eventful week of sports this past weekend, not in a good way for some of us, and for a really good way for some of the other ones. But before we get into that, Taylor, go ahead and tell us our records from last week. Who was hot, who was not?
Well, I wouldn't say any of us were hot, but
It was not.
Max was not hot. Max went 2-10 last week. That is officially broke my record of three and
Hey,
nine. Thank you, Max.
fucking beat that.
um, and then me and Alex didn't do much better. Now, I mean, betting wise, Alex lost no money. And actually, if you were actually betting and you used units, Alex might have won some money based off of some of the lines he was betting off of. Same with me. 5-7. Um, okay. I mean, me and Alex's over under bet, Alex won, where I took the over in the Texas Kentucky game. We had it at 46.5, and Alex took the under. The total was 45. Congratulations, Alex.
That's right.
Our total records now, I am still in last place, even after Max went 2-10. That's how bad I
That's
was.
even worse for you.
That's even worse. 32-44. Max is then 34-42, and Alex is 36-40. None of us are over 500 right now.
There
So
you go.
Listen,
Max was our saving grace at 500 coming into this, and has absolutely failed us. I mean, I haven't done a total record, but as a podcast, I can just tell you with some numbers real quick. Not great. Let's see. 868. Holy crap. We are not good, guys.
I know last week I said we were all going to go undefeated, and I apologize. We did not do that. One thing to have updated
102 and 126 as a podcast in college picks.
Max's streak of his sneaky hitting, RIP, it did not hit, but his lock hit, I believe.
Max's lock did hit. Alex,
Yes.
yeah, it hit. Max's lock hit, his sneak didn't. Me and Alex both went boom, two checks. We both our hit.
So my lock streak continues it will be 5
Max
weeks
went back
this
and
week
did
if I
this.
think that's right.
You went back and did the
Yeah,
math.
it's been since week 8 or week 9.
Yeah.
I think week 9. It's been 4 weeks. My lock is hit. Even my sneak is hit, but this week my sneak did not hit, but my lock did hit. So I'm just gonna forget about the sneak. My lock streak is what matters to me most.
At the after the SEC championship or the conference championship weekends, I'm gonna go back and add up all of our sneaks and locks. Because I mean, now some people do, but personally, like I think I speak for ourselves was like how we would bet is more on our sneaks and locks, not our picks. I'm not gonna go bet 12 games. I know some people do that, and that's fine. They make livings off of it. I'm not smart enough to do that. But just realistically, how we would bet is more like on our sneaks and locks, 2 or 3 picks a week.
And
So I think that's going to be a more accurate representation, make us look a little bit better on how
our sneaks and locks are good. Like I feel like if we go back, I think all of us are going to have like winning. I don't think any of us have missed that many.
but that's more accurate representation because you're going to pick what you want. I'm not giving y'all a choice. I'm not even giving me a choice. I'm picking the 10 best games. This week we have 13
Yeah.
because we're putting 3 NFL games because of the Thanksgiving games in there. And it's just some of the lines are tough. So anyways,
I think if we did go back and look at our locks and our sneaks, and those are the games like you were saying, like that we like to bet and that we would accept that we're going and finding because we're like, oh yeah, that's it. Those
yeah,
would be definitely a lot better record. But
right.
yep, a little bit of a tough week for Max as far as it goes with that. But hey, I didn't do too bad, and we're almost to 500. Hopefully, maybe at this we can get there. But we're gonna go ahead and go into a little bit of the conversation of what happened last week because man, oh man, did some stuff happen. Uh,
Where you want to
you know,
start?
so- I was gonna say, I mean, where do y'all want to start at?
Let's
I mean,
start with A&M Auburn.
okay.
Um,
But I'll let you have that one because you were there. Tell us, how was the environment? What was the
it was the
feeling
best one.
like?
It was the best one of the year. I mean, Oklahoma. It was a night game. Oklahoma was really good.
Most
early on
definitely.
in the year, but it was as good as you could do for a really hot game at like 2:30. But the environment was crazy in Jordan Hare. It was like 40 degrees. It was night. Um, and it really affected Texas A&M because that 21-0 start just shell shocked them. Absolutely shell shocked them. I mean, not even really like I don't necessarily understand what their plan was leaving their rookie cornerback on an island against our two best wide receivers, or whoever it would be. Um,
They probably didn't think y'all be able to get it to him, just
Hey,
because quarterback wise.
funny enough, Peyton Thorne had his last game in Jordan Hare had an awesome game. He threw
Oh
for
yeah,
300 yards. I mean, the pick was awful, but I actually blame the play call on the pick. I hate that. He's not good enough to throw short side into a crowd. I know some quarterbacks are, but I don't think any quarterback in our state should be doing that personally. That's a
Can
little
I ask you
shot
a
for leg.
question, Taylor?
Go go for it.
Do you feel good about storming the field against the number 15 team in the
So
country?
so personally, I could give two shits anymore because do you want to know who started the storming? Recruits. The recruiting section
Really?
went first. So it was just the 4 5 stars we had there, plus our own two 5 stars. So yeah,
I just think it should be reserved for like I don't know, like
Max,
actual like
you're thinking like an Alabama fan. They're Auburn. They don't.
I mean, I'm
It's
not arguing
different.
that.
It's
I'm not arguing
different.
that, but also it's just
oh,
it was
yeah,
more of it was
okay, I'm
more of
not
a
even knocking that.
if you want to be honest with you, it's more of a frustration storm. We finally won a game in the fourth
It's
quarter.
not just Auburn. It's not just Auburn. Yeah, I get
Oklahoma
that
did
too
it.
with Auburn, but
Oklahoma,
it's
why is
not just
Oklahoma
Auburn.
doing it?
It's been Oklahoma did it. It's like hey, we've already had it's like team. The only team that should have been allowed to do it this year was Vandy. That's the
Yeah,
only team that should have been. That's
yeah,
the only
but here's the
acceptable
thing:
case.
Auburn wouldn't have done it if they beat Texas A&M 24-3. It was because it was 4 overtimes, and I'm not saying it's right,
Yeah,
but
I mean that's also. Actually you're right about that. I take it back a little, not all the way, but a little bit, just because they're Texas A&M, they're ranked 15. But it was a crazy overtime win. But yeah, Oklahoma doing it was like that was kind of strange. It was
and
like
they got fined twice because they ran on
y'all
early.
fucking.
So just real quick, yeah, Peyton Thornax had a really good game. Cam Coleman is turning. He's has
Yep.
six, what 5 touchdown catches in the last 2 weeks. Uh,
Need that
he's
guy.
turning into what we wanted him to be. Keandre Lambert Smith was everything we needed him to be. He's 100 yards away, I think, from being Auburn's first 1,000 yard receiver since 1999. Um,
Dang, that's crazy.
Jarquez Hunter
He's
should go
still
down
him.
as Jarquez Hunter should go down as one of the all-time greats in Auburn just because he literally could have left at any point and went to a real team because he's came from like the last like Brian Harsin to the first 2 years of Hugh Freeze and Texas A&M. Man, first of all, I hate the overtime rule where they go to 2 point conversions. Um, but I'll say this, like that
I
last
like
play,
that.
the dude just straight up dropped it. It was a perfectly
Oh
drawn up
yeah,
play.
he dropped it.
Perfectly drawn up play. That little sit down route and to counteract the short side, they moved the quarterback over more with the wide receiver to give him more room
They
and
sent the
use
guy out and sent
they
the guy
used the
right under him.
defense use the offensive line as a pick,
Yeah.
which by the way, worst offensive pass interference. There was in the Auburn Alabama game, there was two of the worst calls I've ever seen in my
Well,
life.
let's go ahead and go to the. I mean, I think that's pretty much everything for the
Yeah, that's
Auburn
pretty
game.
much it.
Besides, I mean, A&M huge fumble. I mean, now I mean they got to win out if they want playoffs.
Well, they still control their own destiny.
Yeah,
But
they do. They do.
Alabama shitting the bed, which we're going into. I'll let Max talk. Save their season because now the winner of that A&M Texas game goes to play Georgia.
Yeah, Max, go ahead. I didn't get to watch any of the Bama game. I'm actually kind of happy I didn't because apparently it was horrible. Go ahead and kind of describe what happened, and also I know Taylor was hitting on the fact of two really bad calls. So go ahead and tell everybody what happened. I mean, they thought, but just give a little rundown.
Well, the one was in
You
the
know,
Auburn
I'm
game. The
not,
other one was Alabama game. Sorry.
I'm not gonna just blame Jalen. He didn't have a good game, but in the first half, we dropped 5 or 6 balls for first downs that would have kept drives moving. But what Jalen didn't do well was when he ran the ball. You can look this up. Look at all 15 of Jalen Miller's runs in the game. on probably 10 of them. He had an opportunity to cut upfield and get the first down, but he continued to run to the sideline, and guys would dive and catch him by the feet. And I mean, that was just so frustrating. I mean, in the first quarter, there was one where it was 2nd and 7. He ran it. He was 2 yards away from the first down. There's blockers in front of him, nobody else, no defenders. And then he cuts it to the outside, and he actually loses 5 yards. And now it's 3rd and 10. It was just that stuff all night, and Ryan Williams having a ball go straight through his hand. I think there was something wrong with the lighting, because I think that's what Ryan Williams was saying. And Jeremy Bernard had one where, I mean, the ball was directly coming right to him. He just didn't even. It was like he didn't even see it. And but
What about the
once
defense?
and then but the pick six,
They had
the
basically 2 pick
defense
sixes.
they kind of did the same thing. Yeah, I mean, the defense didn't play awful. I mean, they Oklahoma moved the ball a little bit, but we also gave them the ball twice in our territory. And then also the pick six just sealed it pretty much.
What the fuck was that tackle attempt?
But
Oh yeah, that wasn't a tackle
that was
attempt. That
that
was
was
Did he try to?
bullshit.
Did he?
I mean,
If he's
that
gonna
was
trip him, actually
he tried
trip
to
him.
trip him.
Well,
He
but it
tried
looked
to,
like he
like,
half-assed tried to trip him. It looked like he was gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna trip him, and then he went, oh fuck, I can't trip him. So
I
then he
mean,
just
if he makes a tackle and we get a stop and hold him to 3, like we're still got a chance in it, and we still had, like, yeah, there were bad calls. We still, that call they called back Ryan Williams touchdown. That was a touchdown.
Hold on a second.
There's
Hold on a
no.
second. This is basic. This you should get fired for this as a ref. Listen, and these are the Texas.
Oh yeah,
This is the Texas Georgia officials, by the way.
all of them need
So
to be
what
fired.
happened, Alex, is, and you know this, you've played
Oh,
sports before.
I saw what happened. Like,
You cannot tell me, you cannot miss that. So if you didn't and you haven't watched this, they called back Ryan Williams touchdown because they called him an ineligible receiver because he was covered. Was not covered. The dude that said he was covered was the line judge that was sitting right there. You can't miss that call. Listen, you can miss defensive pass interference calls or judgment calls. Even the one in the Auburn game I was talking about, awful, but it's a judgment call. That's just football 101. Like, no, he's not covered.
You can't make that. Yeah, he's not. He was. I mean, even the announcers were sitting there saying, like, "What the hell?" It was. That's terrible. But that's not the reason we lost. But we played terrible.
I asked my
even
buddy.
if that they don't call that. Go ahead.
So the one thing I wanted to ask you, because like I said, I was in the stadium, so I only got to see like this clips. So I was talking to Parker, Parker, our buddy. He watched it. He said, yeah, he argues a little. He said we wouldn't have won, but I mean, changing the game from 24-3 to 24-10, and then them having to get a stop,
With
drop.
like
You
10
could
minutes left, it's like, that's
it was
reasonable.
14 minutes left. It was 14.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
But he
yeah.
said that basically, which I know they ran for 260 yards against y'all. Just y'all, once again, it was like the Vandy game. Your defensive ends just completely lost contain.
I'll say this though: in the first half, they were running a while, but in the second half, we definitely made adjustments and kind of clamped down on it. And the only reason they scored is because they had the 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and it was one pick six,
but
one of them they took back to the 10.
Yeah.
They took it back to the 10.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, basically, yeah. And
That's
the first pick by Jalen wasn't his fault on the screen. Kobe Prentice just let the guy run right by him. I mean, that wasn't Jalen's fault. That would have hit Ryan right in his face mask. But I mean, Kobe Prentice, I hope he hits the transfer portal, because that was terrible. I mean, he just let the guy run right by him, and then he turned around with his hands up, like, what? And it's like, no, dude, that's your fucking guy. And it was one of those bad games. It was just bad thing after nothing. There was nothing positive coming out of it. But
that's all I got.
We're ranked 13. We still got a shot. We need a couple losses in front of us to be able to make it. But
Well,
we gotta worry about
who helped y'all out, and I guess this is leading into it. I know I'm not the host, but Ole Miss helped y'all out by choking at Florida.
Yeah.
I watched this game. Jackson Dart went full R word.
You never go. You
full
never go full
R word. Full R word. No, dude. They're driving down the field.
You're talking about the
got
last drive?
plenty of time, and this dude goes, Oh no. And why would you want to score early anyways and let him have time to have the ball back? He just goes, I'm gonna throw it into triple coverage. Not just normal triple coverage where they're like shadowing underneath. He threw a deep
Not
ball
open.
to three up top. The
Over the
one
top,
spot he
yeah.
couldn't throw it. I mean, normal triple coverage, they have one dude right here and then they have two pocketing. There was no pocketing, they just were behind him. And then they get the ball back and he throws an interception that
It
gets
wasn't an
one
interception because it
interception.
hit the
Yep.
ground.
And then his
Very
next
next
play, he just
play.
But the
throws it
very
to
next play, he throws a pick, the same bad throw
Lane
again.
Kiffin. Everything I said about Lane Kiffin in the Georgia game, when I said he finally like grew up and like took the points and everything, he went exactly back to old Lane
I
Kiffin.
said it last week. I said I want to pick Florida because I don't know if I trust him, but I didn't do it. I should have went with my gut, but I said it. Florida was playing. They've been playing really good, and Ole Miss, you can't trust them. You can't touch. You can't trust Lane. And like, I mean,
Lightweight's
they,
good.
huh?
Lightweight is good.
Oh yeah, he's looked really. He was throwing some
Flagway is
beams.
really good.
Yeah.
Ole Miss. This is where Ole Miss fucked up. And I mean, I listened to a podcast that's got it's like it's got some Ole Miss people be like beat writers on it, so I hear a lot about Ole Miss. The minute they like decided, because not a lot of people noticed, but the whole Judkins drama last year, like they're trying to hold on to him when they could have just dropped him. And ETN was going to go to Ole Miss, but then they said we're going to try to keep uh, Judkins. That's why Judkins played in the Peach Bowl last year, and then they decided to cut ties with him and they could never get a good running back. They just didn't have a running game. You can't in the SEC you just can't be good without a running game. You really can't. You can throw all you want to, but you have to take the points. When you're a favorite and you go in on the road to a decent SEC team, like I mean a decent SEC team, like Florida is a decent SEC team, take the points. Just take the points because in the end, if you take the points, they went for it like on fourth down twice in
That's how
there.
Lane
They're
is.
down
Lane's done that
20.
forever.
They're down 24-23 driving to kick a field goal to win it. Points matter on the road. Take the points on the road. They just people always say like can't settle for field goals. You absolutely Nick Saban won national championships because he settled for field goals. Like 2011 Arkansas, right after the LSU game, I remember that
Won
they won
14-13
14-13.
or
It was
something like
14
that.
it
Yeah.
was 14-13, but it wasn't on two touchdowns. It was like there was a safety
No.
and they kicked a
Yeah.
bunch of field goals. And I've watched
It
them
was
beat
5-0 at one point.
yeah, they beat Tennessee 9-3 one year because they kick field goals, man. I mean, in the end, if you have an elite defense, which Ole Miss does, you gotta take it. They don't even have the excuse like they did last year where their defense was so bad they go, we gotta score touchdowns. No, you don't. Your defense
That's
is legit.
that's who Lane is. So Lane has done that forever, and I mean, I think that's one reason why a lot of people like him is because he's not afraid to do that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You got to know
You
when you
also
should
got to
do it.
think that you got to think that their kicker did miss a field goal early in the game. Easy
He
one.
does, but he overreacts. Lane overreacts to that. His kicker's really good. His kicker's really good. I get it. You miss one field goal, you got a really good kicker. Keep kicking them. The other ones were short kicks. That one was a 40. And also, I saw that. Also, like they got their big guy on 4th and 1 bouncing it outside. Their defensive lineman they use in the jumbo packages to try to score a touchdown instead of just getting the 1 yard and he gets tackled. Like you can't tell me Lane Kiffin didn't tell him try to score. Like
Well, I just think a lot
I
of
don't
that is
know.
just that comes from the.
Anyways, that's all I got
I
on
think. I mean,
them.
I think that
You're
comes from
right,
the
Alex. You
image.
were right about them all year. They were very talented, but in the end, their head coach couldn't get his head out of his own ass. It's
I
been
think
the
a lot of
story
that
of
is
his
just
career.
it just comes down to the immaturity of Lane. I think he has grown some, but he still has it there, and I think that shows. I mean, Alabama. There's a lot of immaturity there right now as well. The difference between Saban and DeBoer is very evident. But I mean, the last thing I will go over this weekend is BYU and Colorado. I mean, Big 12 pretty much just.
Wide open. Iowa
Yep.
State is now in. I was looking at tiebreakers. I'm pretty sure Iowa State's back in control. If they win, they're in the conference
Same
championship
thing with
game.
Arizona State.
Yeah, so I think the most and they're all four playing different teams, and they're all four playing like the bottom four teams.
Arizona
So
State plays Arizona. BYU plays.
and then Colorado plays Oklahoma State. BYU plays Houston, and then
Iowa State plays Kansas State.
Iowa State. Okay, so I'm sorry, but they play them at home. That's
Mhm.
actually a really good game. I have that
Yep,
on
there's some good
picks.
ones.
State, then if they win, who else win? Then if they win,
If Iowa State wins, then and then if Iowa State and Arizona State control their own destiny. Like if they both
okay,
win, they're both in the conference championship game.
okay.
Colorado needs BYU to win. I mean, needs Arizona State. No, I gotta have this right. I don't know. I'd have to look at Colorado and BYU need help. They need one of the other teams to lose, but it's got to be a specific team. There's a scenario thing on there. I'm not going to get into
I
it. It's the
think
Big 12.
I think they need both of them to lose to get
Look,
in.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'll talk about Big 12 next week when we have a Big 12 championship game. Because it's a one big. Am I wrong? It's a one bid league. So
Yeah.
who really cares?
Okay.
Hey, real quick, another big winner this week because of upsets. Don't count them out. And Army losing Tulane all the way up to 17th in the playoff rankings. So if Boise State were to lose to UNLV in the Mountain West Conference Championship game and Tulane beats Army in the American, they make it. And I'm not too sure that Tulane isn't, even though I understand Boise State deserves to be where they are, I'm not too sure Tulane's not a better, couldn't give somebody a better game just because of their
Tulane is better
offense.
than Boise State.
I don't know. Tulane lost to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is pretty shitty.
I understand that, but I'm saying Boise State would lose to Oklahoma because they would run the
Yeah.
ball up the middle every play, and it
I'm
would.
joking. I'm completely joking.
Hey, Maine scored 2 touchdowns on Oklahoma.
They did.
More than
The
us.
Black Bears.
Do you want to do Heisman odds now? I guess that we got some more to talk about, but we got to talk about the playoff and all these teams, including Alabama, the Tennessees, the Georgias, are going to be included in it. So
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do the Heisman odds. Travis Hunter minus 1,000, Genty plus 750, Cam Ward plus 1,200, Dylan Gabriel plus 6,000. What I mean,
did you
it's
see
between
why I
the
stopped? Did you see why I
yeah.
stopped at Dylan Gabriel? Because I mean, like I could have gone. Jackson Dart was like plus 18,000 or
No,
something
I
like
mean
that.
it's Travis Hunter and Genty, and I mean Travis Hunter's gonna win it.
How did he not get put as a finalist for the best cornerback, the best cornerback in the country? Is it the Jim Thorpe Award or whatever? He's not a finalist. Deion
I mean,
Sanders was pissed off about that. I don't understand that.
I don't know exactly why, but I don't know his stats on defense specifically. I don't know if that actually like stack. I know he's a good corner. I don't know how good of a corner he is. So, but I mean, both sides of the ball. I think Travis Hunter is going to be the winner, which is going to be cool to see a receiver and cornerback combo. I mean, I don't know the last time we saw anything like that, so that'll be cool. I mean, do y'all think Genty or anyone else has a really
no,
chance?
I think Travis Hunter is winning it, and he should.
Yeah.
Best player.
Mm-hmm.
His more unique, even though I understand Genty's having a magical year, but even we've never seen somebody do what Travis Hunter's doing. I understand it's Barry Sanders, but Barry Sanders, at least one person's done it. I don't know. Give it to the best player in the country, I say, and that's
Barry
Travis
Sanders.
Hunter. Genty trying to break the rushing record or whatever.
Yeah.
But give it to the best player, and I think the best player is also the most valuable player this year. It wouldn't hurt Colorado to make the Big 12 championship game, just so he can play one more time after this.
I mean, I hope they win the Big 12. I just think they're the most fun team to watch.
That Kansas is tricky, man. I'll be honest with you. If Kansas could have their season over again, they might win the Big 12. They were supposed to be one of the teams to win Big 12. If you go look at their predictive rankings are like 10-2, and they were like they should be 10-2 right now, and they're like 5-6. It's kind of crazy.
What were you saying, Max?
I was just saying, yeah, Kansas, they're a lot better team than what their record shows. They just seem to figure it out later on. And now, the past couple weeks, they've really, figured it out, and also that hit against Shedeur Sanders was pretty cool.
That was dirty. Although they said that they talked and
So
he didn't. It said he like fell. He didn't mean to go so low. He tripped. I don't know.
Right.
Deion's the one. Deion's the one that said lay off of him. So
looked like he dived right into his knees.
Deion's the one that said lay off him. I don't know. Said they.
I will
talked.
say Kansas had a lot of injuries at the beginning of the year. I think that's the main reason they did. And plus, a lot of the games they lost early were really close. So a lot of bad luck, but I mean, hey, they're finishing out the year strong like they should, and that was a huge win for them. I'm surprised none of us picked Kansas. Like I think that was a pretty
Yeah,
That was
a
pretty
lot of people
popular.
did. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that could be an upset, and we didn't
I'm
listen.
surprised we didn't. I'm just surprised none of us saw it because I mean we all kind of agree that
I
Colorado could
think we just
struggle with
wanted
some good
I
teams.
think I'll be honest with you, I did that based off of brooding. I just wanted Colorado to win the game.
Hmm.
Now, I honestly thought that Colorado would see it. I thought that they would be prepared for it, but obviously Kansas is just better than what we think and what we thought, at least.
Hmm.
Anyways, you ready for this fucking 3-loss crowded bullshit we got to talk about called
Yeah,
the college football playoff?
yeah. So we'll go ahead and college football just came out right before this, and it is interesting to see
Cluster
this.
fuck.
Yeah, it is interesting to see to say the least. I'll kind of go down. I'm just going to go straight through 1 through 12, and I'll talk
And then
about the
go all
matchups.
and then dude, if you're gonna have to add 15.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry, I will. I will. So, I mean, we'll just go straight down the list. Oregon's 1, Ohio State's 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Notre Dame 5, Miami 6, Georgia 7, 8 Tennessee, SMU 9, Indiana 10, Boise State 11, and then 12 is Clemson, 13 is sorry, I can't really see it on here. And I'll just let me do this again because it's all messed up. Oregon's the 1 seed.
Oregon, no,
Yeah, Oregon's the 1 seed. Texas the 2 seed. Miami the 3 seed. Boise State the 4 seed. Fifth seed is Ohio State. Sixth seed is Penn State. Seventh seed is Notre Dame. Eight seed is Georgia. Nine is Tennessee. 10 is SMU. 11 Indiana. 12 is Arizona State. There's a bunch of the rankings are crazy because I mean Arizona State is in because they're the Big 12 winner, but they're ranked number 16. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. I mean, Alabama is the 13, so we're out. Clemson is the 12 team, and they're the out. I mean, all the stuff that can happen. Let's just kind of talk about some scenarios right now. So, what do you think we would need as I mean, Bama fans, what would we need for us to get in?
Uh,
I think we need SMU to lose to Cal. We need honestly, I think we need probably either Tennessee to lose to Vandy. I don't know if we need all of them. I think we need probably two. Um, Tennessee to Vandy. There's a couple. What's the other ones, Taylor? I can't remember the other ones that.
well,
And
you
there are a
could
few more that we could.
there's like you probably want Texas
Georgia,
to
Georgia Tech.
you want but realistically like rooting interest, y'all should pull for South Carolina to
We
beat
want
Clemson.
Texas to win.
You want Texas to
Yeah.
win, so that ends that. You would want South Carolina to beat Clemson. You would like SMU to lose, or Miami, or both, actually.
I agree. So I think the big thing that we're worried about here right now is two ACC teams. If there's two ACC teams in, we're not making it. So we need either SMU and Miami to lose, or we need one of them to lose, make it to the ACC title, then them lose again. Because I think if they both go undefeated and they just lose to each other, then I think they're both just going to make the playoff, which would be horrible. Because
We
I don't think the ACC is good this year, and I think if they make it in, it'll be so sad because I think they'll just get beat.
Hey, listen, I have not thought about this, and I just looked it up. We have not thought about this. Clemson's got one ACC loss. If Miami loses again, they will have two. So if Miami loses, they're out of the ACC championship game, and Clemson's in.
Hmm.
SMU's locked
This
in.
week.
So it's SMU's. Well, Clemson's playing South Carolina, but they don't play another. They're done with their ACC schedule. Miami plays Syracuse. Um, SMU is locked into the ACC title game. They have no ACC losses. They can only have one. Clemson, so they're in. So it's SMU versus if Miami wins, Miami, and if Miami loses, it's SMU versus Clemson.
Hmm.
Um, I I would say y'all could also pull for Indiana lose Purdue, but I mean,
Hey, if that happens, that'd be amazing. That would
but
knock them
they're a
straight out.
30-point, they're a 31-point dog. I mean, I
I've
don't,
always loved the Boilermakers. I've always been a fan. Um, one thing that I want to ask y'all, let me answer this first. Notre Dame loses to USC. I don't think that knocks them out. I think that puts them at like 11 or 12. But I see a lot of people saying that that could potentially knock them out just because they don't have a big win besides A&M, and plus the NIU, the Northern Illinois loss should count as two
Worst loss in the
losses.
country. That's the worst loss in the country
yeah.
for a playoff team.
6-6 MAC team, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're not even a good MAC team.
Do you think that would knock them out? I don't think it would.
No. If anything, I think somebody that's pulling for Notre Dame to lose is a team like SMU,
Mhm.
because I think that actually helps them. One of the like that helps them have an extra game they could lose. If I think Notre Dame losing doesn't add a team in, but it just moves like a
It
team
shifts
that's
people up.
below them up, like an SMU or a
Boise
who's
State, Indiana, Tennessee.
yeah, one of those, yeah. I don't think people have talked about this. So it's the five highest rated conference champions. Arizona State is at 16 right now. Tulane's at 17. Well, what if Tulane won the American and then there is a scenario, it's a crazy ass scenario where the Big 12 team could just get left out, period.
Colorado is at 25. Imagine Colorado being the Big 12 championship and Tulane wins out. I mean, I think that'd put Tulane out. I think that leaves them out, sadly.
Yes, it's the five highest rated conference
Yeah.
champions, not the Power Four. I mean, yeah, I
I
just
have
thought of
another
that.
question. Georgia loses out. They lose to
They're
Georgia
out.
Tech and then they lose to Texas.
That's something you should pull for.
What if they lose to Texas in the championship?
They're in.
I guess they probably won't be hurt as much. But yeah, if they lose to Georgia Tech, they're out no matter what.
I will go ahead and tell you
I
this.
think. Unless they win the SEC.
I know who Georgia's pulling for this weekend in that game, and it ain't not Texas. It's Texas A&M. Hard to beat a team twice. I
Oh yeah.
understand they could tell, but it's really hard to beat a team twice. I don't think they want to play Texas again right now. I think I'm not saying they aren't better than them. Y'all know what I mean. Like even if you are better than a team, but it's a lot harder to beat them twice. I'll be honest with you, man. Texas, but now that Alabama and Ole Miss have lost, Texas,
They locked.
they're locked because
They locked.
they're locked, correct? Yeah, they're locked. Well, I
I
guess
mean, I will
what if they
say,
lost out? Well, no, because if they lose, then they're just 10-2. They can't lose. They cannot have three losses. So
yeah,
they're either going to have one or two losses. So
yeah.
they're locked. I
I
understand
mean,
what you're about to say. Their resume sucks.
yeah, they'll
Actually,
make it though.
believe it or not, you know how we always talk about how bad Indiana's resume is. It's a lot
Texas,
similar. Texas is
yeah,
like
they're
their
right there.
resume, and they both got their ass beat by the one team they played.
Mhm. I mean, I'll just go through it. Who Bama fans who are rooting for this weekend? We're rooting for Vandy. We're rooting for Syracuse. We're probably we're rooting for Texas. We're rooting for Georgia. I mean, there'd
Uh,
have to be a lot to go on. I think if it does come down to it,
you could benefit from Georgia losing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, you're good. I'm just saying, like, I do think like if it does come down to a 3-loss team, I think we make it. I think even if South Carolina beats Clemson, we make it over them just for the pure the head to head. It's gonna matter, and it does matter, and we beat them. I know what you're gonna say. We won at home barely, but I mean,
Can I ask
I,
y'all a question though?
what?
Do we really know when they're going to stop using head to head? Like when they start getting these 3-loss teams, are they going to go with who the better team over the last month is, just because they're putting a 3-loss team in? I mean, I'm not. Y'all can tell me I'm dumb. I'm just saying,
I think if they look at potential, like who has the most potential?
I don't know if Alabama has the most potential over South Carolina right now. I mean, I
What?
really don't. I really
I'm
don't.
not, I know you're saying right now, but who has put the
No,
best
but like
performance
after
up?
this loss, but that's the thing though. It's like Alabama is they've looked really bad at times, but when they've looked really good, they've looked 10 times better than South Carolina's looked.
I mean, at their best, who would you take,
Just saying.
Alabama or South Carolina?
Who's got a better defense?
Probably South Carolina.
And the offenses are what, a wash?
The
Florida's offenses at times have we lit Georgia up in the first, like 28 points in the first quarter. We lit LSU. I mean, I know LSU isn't great,
LSU's
but
got terrible
you know,
defense. South Carolina lit them up too. Now, here's what I'll say that's going to hurt South Carolina. Because I am messing with y'all a little bit, cause I do, but I'm just saying, like, if if you can't necessarily put South Carolina in and not put Ole Miss in, that's where your issue is, because South Carolina lost to Ole Miss by 24 points at home. That's going to be an
yeah,
issue. That, I mean, if they would have beaten LSU though, they have to be knocking their heads in,
yeah.
because if they don't have the late hit on the pick six, then they're in the playoff, right?
Sellers got hurt. Yeah,
If
they beat
Sellers doesn't,
LSU if Seller doesn't get hurt.
that's what, well, I was gonna ask you that. Do they look at the fact that Sellers didn't play in the second half of the LSU game? I'm genuinely asking, like, I hate when people, not y'all, but like there's people on there going, well, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this based off of history. What the fuck are you talking about? We've
I
never
just
had a 12-team playoff. We don't know how they're gonna react.
I think if they were to put South Carolina in, they'd have to be reading really deep into the details. And I think the thing is, when you look at it, I think you just go off the simplicity of it. And the simple thing about it is Alabama already beat South Carolina.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
to justify South
We'll end it
Carolina
with that.
jumping Bama would be crazy.
Well, I think the problem is they can't justify them jumping both Bama and Ole Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and read. I mean, we have the playoff right here. We'll just kind of go who we think would win in the playoffs right now. Arizona
Okay.
State versus Ohio State.
Ohio State.
State kills them.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Georgia rematch.
Georgia.
Max.
Georgia.
It's in Georgia. That's why I'm saying that.
Indiana versus Penn State.
Penn State.
Max, you also have to answer.
I think it would be close. I don't think it's obvious Penn State, but I'll say Penn State, but I don't think it's obvious Penn State.
I watched both those teams play Ohio State, and one of them stayed with them the whole game, and one of them looked like,
One was at home, one wasn't.
I
And
get it. Hey,
got to
bro,
the goal line three
I'm the
times.
biggest
couldn't
Indiana.
score.
I'm the biggest Indiana defender on this in
Penn
this
State would be at
this
home.
region, because I firmly believe if you're gonna have a 12-team playoff, you can't leave an 11-1 team out of a Power 2 conference, because what's the point of it? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
I agree. Penn State would win, I think. This is probably this would be if that was the playoff right now, that would suck. I don't see any exciting games. SMU Notre Dame, this is one that I would actually be excited for. This would be interesting.
SMU.
I
Hey,
would
by the
take
way,
Notre Dame.
their quarterback's nice. Take
Let's
that
take
for what it's
SMU.
worth.
Who you have,
Wink,
Max?
SMU.
Gotcha. Okay, Ohio State, Boise State. Ohio State.
Ohio State. Ohio State's got such an easy path to Oregon.
Georgia versus Oregon.
I'm gonna go with Oregon.
You don't trust Carson Beck?
No.
I'll take Georgia.
Wow.
I would take Oregon because I don't trust Carson Beck.
So we move Oregon on.
Yeah, move Oregon on. Penn State, Miami.
Penn State.
Penn State.
Penn State. Notre Dame, Texas.
Oh God.
I'll take Texas.
Who's the quarterback?
For
Texas.
Yours
Yours has looked god awful, bro. Can Notre Dame can pass the ball really good, correct? Or can they not?
No.
Okay, Texas. Anybody that can't pass, Texas has got a chance. But when they start passing the ball, they're in trouble.
You have Texas, Max?
Texas.
Okay. So we would have potentially the third time that Oregon and Ohio State have played each other. Judging off how this would be, it would be that Oregon will beat them each time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take Ohio State. They'd be able to beat them once.
Ohio State beat them.
Max?
If you're Oregon, you'd rather lose the Big Ten
Ohio
championship.
State.
Okay, Texas and Penn State.
Texas. God, I hate this. I don't see Texas making it the finals.
Texas.
Texas, Ohio State. Ohio State.
Ohio State. Ohio State.
Okay.
I go Texas.
Okay, so Ohio State gets it from all of us. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to
Not
picks.
me.
How is Alabama doing right now, Max? I'm not watching the game.
It's 62-54,
We're
right?
Mark Sims just hit a 3.
Yeah,
62-54.
We're winning?
8 minutes left. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of turned it on then. All
We
right.
were up bigger a minute ago.
Georgia Tech at Georgia. Georgia is favored by 19.5. The total is 53.5. Taylor Thompson, we're going to start with you. I know you're a big Yellow Jacket fan. Who you got?
Georgia Tech to cover. I won't
Georgia
trust
Tech
Carson
cover.
Beck to cover that line.
Max?
I think they still win easy though.
What's the spread?
19.5.
It is in
Georgia
Georgia.
Tech.
It is in Georgia. I will say that, but
Georgia Tech covers.
Max, how did Georgia look last week?
Huh?
How did Georgia look last week?
Against Massachusetts?
Yes.
They look
bad.
like shit. They
Bad.
got balled on by a coach that just fired their team. That fired their coach. A team that just fired their coach. Now the coach that just fired his team. But
He said, I want a new team.
Yeah. They were balling on them, so that's why I've been saying this the whole year that Georgia Tech is they're a good team. Georgia didn't look good last week, so yeah, I'll take Georgia Tech to cover.
I'm taking Georgia Tech to cover as well. This could be one of those where Georgia just kind of blows them out. But Georgia Tech has looked good the entire year. When they had troubles when they lost their quarterback, they have their quarterback right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you play keep away.
But that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
Alex.
you play
It's
keep
hard
away.
it's hard to win by 20 playing keep away.
You play keep
Let
away
me just put it like this: Kentucky covered the Texas line, and that's just I trust similar teams, Georgia and Texas. Georgia Tech's way better than Kentucky.
I tell you, you start getting say Georgia Tech gets up early, they keep the ball, and then they start forcing Carson Beck to start throwing at some. You better watch out. This is a sneaky game. Not even sneaky. I think a lot of people are probably going to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Max, we'll go with you for the next game. Mississippi State at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is favored by 26.5. What do you think?
It's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
Give me Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss. Ah. Give me Mississippi State cover.
Okay. Taylor?
Okay, so I agree this is a lot of points. But by everybody else losing, I'm not saying we didn't talk about Ole Miss a lot with the 3-loss SEC teams. I think, but Ole Miss, I was listening to them talk this week. They do think they have a shot. They just have to win big. They're going to try to win by they're going to try to win by 50. And Mississippi State's so bad on defense. So Ole Miss covers. I think Ole Miss wins by 4 touchdowns.
That's one thing we didn't talk about. I personally believe I think Ole Miss is completely out. I don't think there's a chance in unless
I do too, but I'm saying they have not quit. And I know I just interrupted you again, my
No,
bad.
you're good. They would need us to lose to Auburn, then they would need South Carolina to lose to Clemson, and then they would need SMU and Miami to lose. And then they would probably need someone else to lose. So that's a lot of chaos. But they do technically, I just don't see it. I'm gonna agree with you, Taylor. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss to cover. That is a whole lot of points though, and I hate having a SEC versus SEC game covered 26.5. That's a tough one to pick. Michigan at Ohio State. I'll take the lead on this one. OSU is favored by 21 points. Total's 42.5. Ohio State's gonna win. 21 points is a lot, and I think I might see a little bit. It's hard to say letdown because they're playing Michigan. I'm not gonna touch the points. I'm gonna touch the over 42.5. I think that's an easy over. Max?
Who are we talking about again?
Michigan at Ohio State.
What's the spread?
21.
Give me Michigan cover.
Max is trying to go 1-11 this week. I like it.
Ryan Day has to beat Michigan. He's lost to him 2 years in a row. It's the biggest pressure they're going to cover. This is their best. This is their best chance to just beat the shit out of him and get 2 years worth of frustration off. Or is it 3 years?
I think it's 3.
3 years worth of frustration off. They cover. Michigan ain't going to score.
They don't have a quarterback. Taylor Thompson. Tennessee at Vandy. Tennessee minus 10.5. The total's 48. and a half. What do
Give me
you
the
think?
give me the Vols, lock in their playoff spot. They know they got to win. It'll be shaky earlier, but like Nick Saban said, Vandy's not one place where you can't even say they're playing on the road. They'll have more fans there. I'm sorry. I think it would be funny if Vandy knocked him out. We talked about that last week, but Diego's still hurt. I don't see it.
Max,
Vandy cover.
Vandy cover,
Oh yeah.
Vandy cover. I'm in on it. Give me the Vandy cover. Diego Pavia. This is legacy game. I mean, he's already had his legacy game. This is just the put the cherry on top. Beat Tennessee. Why don't you? Played a close game last week against LSU. I mean, this is for. Imagine they can beat Bama and knock Tennessee out of the playoffs. I mean, as a Vandy fan, I don't know if a season ever gets better than that for you. This might be the best season of all time if that happens. So give me Vandy cover. Tennessee, I think they'll win, but give me the Vandy cover. Taylor, we'll go over to you. No, excuse me, Max. We'll go back to you. South Carolina at Clemson. Clemson's favored by 2.5. Total is 49.5.
I mean, South Carolina cover.
You know, South Carolina cover.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna go South Carolina money line for no reason at all. I just think they're gonna win. I
That's your
think they're
one.
no. This is I'm betting on the
Yeah.
underdog.
I thought is it they're yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
South Carolina defense is gonna put pressure on Klubnik.
Is it at home?
No, it's
Clemson's
in
at home.
Clemson.
Yeah. But I'm going to take South Carolina. Defense is going to put it to them. I think that's what's going to do it. Taylor?
South Carolina cover. Yeah, elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina also a team, and I understand, but as a team, they still think they can play for a playoff spot. So no
That's
letdown.
Clemson.
Right, I understand that.
This will be a fun game to watch,
Yeah,
100%.
this is one of the funner games to watch. I think it's happening during the Iron Bowl, which sucks, but
Mm-hmm. I'll be here, by the way. So we need to figure out something that we can all do. But anyways,
okay.
uh, Notre Dame at USC. Notre Dame is favored by 7.5 points. Uh, man, I would love for Notre Dame to lose. I just don't see it happening. I think they've looked really good besides the NIU, North Illinois loss. They're really putting it on teams. They haven't really had a close one. I mean, I think Notre Dame kills them. I have them covering the 7.5. Taylor?
Me too. USC sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And Notre Dame's playing really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
As much as shit we talk about them.
Their run game is
Their one
insane.
argument, their argument, and it's a good argument because somebody brought up the SEC road record to try to justify the 3-loss teams going to the SEC as a conference is only one game over 500 on the road. Well, their big win this year was a road night. It was a road SEC
Yeah.
game. So
Mm-hmm. Max?
Give me Notre Dame cover.
Okay.
USC sucks.
Yeah. All right, we'll go right back to you, Max. Miami at Syracuse. Miami is 11-point favorites against Syracuse. The total for this game is 67.5 points. This is going to be high flying. What do you think?
Give me Miami. I think it's going to be offensive all the way. That's why the points total is so high. Yeah, Miami covers.
Okay. Taylor?
and Miami covers. What's the line?
67.5 points.
Miami covers.
Uh,
What is it?
so I will say like 67.5 points. If this game goes over, then that means this game was absolutely insane. I'm going to take the Miami money line. This will be my money line game. I think this is going to be really close. I think Syracuse, Kyle McCord, he'll probably throw for 400 yards. Like legitimately, he'll probably will. I mean, last game in the first half, I did hit my over last week in UConn, and he threw for 320 yards in the first half. They love to throw it, and against Miami, they'll be able to do that. So watch out for this game. This one might be one of the most fun to watch as well. Uh, Kansas State at Iowa State. Taylor Thompson. Iowa State's favored by 3.5. The 51.5 is the point spread. What do you think?
Iowa State will cover because it's at Iowa State. If this was in Kansas State, I'd pick Kansas State.
Mhm.
That's Kansas State plays so much better, different at home.
Okay, Max.
Iowa State cover. Same thing as Taylor said.
Iowa State, Rocco has been looking good, but I'm going to go Avery Johnson and Kansas State to cover the 3.5. I like the way. I think that they're just playing for spoilers, and I think this will be it. I think they'll spoil it for him because Iowa State is in control. Cal at SMU. Max SMU is favored by 13.5. The total is 56.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll cover.
I want to hear Max's thoughts on this because he called this out in our group message, and he's been circling this game. He thinks Cal can beat SMU.
I do think. I mean, I think Cal has a good team. I think they have actually a really aggressive defense. They get after people. They play teams close all year. Obviously, they beat Auburn at Auburn. That was a great win. Should have beat Miami. They fumbled that one. But I think Cal's a good team. I mean, they've proven they can go on the road. They went to Jordan Hare and beat Auburn. I mean, I know Auburn's not great this year, but anytime you go to Jordan Hare and get a win, that's pretty tough to do. I think they could do it, but I at least got them to cover.
Taylor, what do you think?
SMU cover. I almost used my money line on this, so I do. I've actually started to agree with Max. It's sneaky.
This one is a sneaky game. If it was at Cal, I'd like it a lot more. But SMU's had a lot of games where a lot of people were predicting it to be closer, and they just really haven't had that close game. I think SMU handles business actually, and I think they covered a 13.5. But I will agree with Max. This one is really tricky. Texas at Texas A&M. Taylor Thompson. Texas is favored by 6.5. Total's 48.5. What do you think?
I'm a dumbass for doing this and not taking the points, but I've called this for 2 weeks now. A&M losing to Auburn and beating Texas at home. Texas A&M money line.
All right, all right, Max.
It's a tough one.
What's the spread on it?
6.5.
6.5 for Texas.
Give me A&M cover. I think it'll be close. Maybe Texas wins close, but
This one is crazy. It being at A&M is the thing. Like, man, I
yeah.
know it's gonna be absolutely insane
Literally
there.
10 years in the making, or 14.
Yes,
It's 14 years in the making. Yeah.
yes. The ticket prices for this game are more expensive than a Dallas Cowboys ticket on Thanksgiving right now. Um, man, I don't know. Give me the home team to cover. Give me the home team to cover 6.5. Give me A&M.
Okay.
Last but not least, the big game, the biggest game. It has been flexed to Nickelodeon at 9 a.m. Alabama and Auburn.
2:30 ABC. But yeah.
Auburn
That's
at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 11.5 points. The total is 52.5. I'll go first. Give me an Auburn cover. Alabama will win, but give me an Auburn cover. It's going to be close. Thorne's looking good. Jarquez. I mean, I'm kind of. This game could go either way. Auburn could beat us by 17. We could beat them by 17. I'm not sure. I think it'll be close, but give me Auburn cover. Alabama wins though. Max, we'll go to you, and we'll let Taylor in this one.
Alabama covers. Auburn's freshman linebacker has been talking out his ass cheeks, calling out Jalen Milrow, calling out Ryan Williams. I mean, that's probably the last thing you wanted to do. I mean, you didn't want to bring out the best in them, because the best in them can really light you up. I think we take it personal. Alabama cover.
I would like to lead this in with a tweet from Perry Thompson. I'm going to name out some stats about two quarterbacks, and you're going to tell me which one is which. Okay, quarterback A is 175 for 276 for 2,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Quarterback B is 171 of 263 for 2,396 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Which one's Jalen Milrow?
Can you give me the rushing yards?
I can add rushing yards if you want me to.
We'll know who it is then. Don't.
Okay, rushing touchdowns.
I mean, then you're going to know who it is.
Quarterback, 20
Okay.
touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Yeah,
That is going to be Thorne. Quarterback
correct.
B is Jalen Nora. Yeah.
Correct. Barry Thompson tweeted that out. I'm counteracting what Alex did because Alex has said he always picks Auburn wrong, and I've always picked Alabama wrong lately. So Alabama to cover the 11.5. Meanwhile, though, maybe you should know the name of the running back, the linebacker that you're supposed to be watching film on, or maybe maybe he's not watching film and he's learning how to fucking tackle. I don't know. Um, but if Jalen Milroe does want to enter transfer portal,
Y'all take
A-
him.
Aiden Holloway trade.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
I saw somebody legit say, and this is a legit thing, because I don't know if you watch Thorne when he's got a clean pocket. If you put Thorne on y'all's team, y'all might actually be better.
You never know. I think I don't know. But we're actually gonna add one more game into this that isn't on there. Taylor Thompson, what will you do if Florida State wins? Or no, if they lose this game against Florida?
If they lose this game against Florida, I will pull for if they lose against Florida, I'll buy a Mark Sears jersey.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We did forget to add this one last week. It was Florida State against
Charleston
someone at
Southern.
Charleston Southern. They got the big dub. Shout out to Florida State. Max, what will you do if Florida State loses to Florida?
Florida State loses, I will become the new dang, what's that guy's name? The serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey
I'll,
Dahmer.
I'll become the new Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
Interesting. If Florida State loses to Florida, I will. This is an interesting one. I'll kind of take Max's, and I'll become the new Diddy.
Okay.
Not really. I'm not going to do that. But yep, we're actually going to add in some NFL games for this. We'll be recording on Thursday, but these games will have already been happened or like it'll be going on. So NFL Thanksgiving, Bears at Lions. Detroit is favored by 10 points against the Bears. Personally, I don't know how it's not higher. Give me the Lions to cover 10 against the Bears. I think they win big. Taylor?
What did I tell you last week? It's nothing personal, just Detroit is going to cover everything until they don't. I've refused to pick against them. Actually, even I'm going to pick them all year, and then more times than not, way more than times than not, they'll cover. They're the best team in the league. Colts actually didn't play half bad against them, and it wasn't even close.
Max?
It's the best team in the league.
Yep. Giants and Cowboys. Dallas is only 3.5-point favorites. 37.5 is the total. I mean, Giants got Tommy DeVito starting. Cowboys got Cooper Rush. This is going to be a horrible game. It sucks that they put this during Thanksgiving. No one wants to watch this. Taylor, what do you think?
Dallas minus 3.5. They're the home team.
Max?
Coming off a win, too.
Well, Dallas coming off a win. They're better with their backup than the Giants are.
Give me the Giants to cover. Tommy DeVito. He does. I mean, I'm really just picking this just to go against y'all. I know the Cowboys got a big win last week, but give me the Giants. Maybe Malik Neighbors pull something out. We'll just have to see. Dolphins at the Packers. This is actually going to be a fun game. I hope this isn't on Peacock. I think it might be. Dolphins at Packers. Green Bay's favored by 3.5. The total is 47.5. Dolphins picked it up. They're starting to play good. I mean, they're looking for that wild card game. They're looking to get into the playoffs. Tua is going absolutely crazy. 3 touchdowns past 2 games. 300 yards this past one. Green Bay got a big win against the 49ers. 49ers are really beat up, though. It's at the Packers. Dolphins don't like the cold, so I am going to go with the Packers to cover 3.5, but watch out. Max?
Give me the Packers cover.
Taylor?
Green Bay. The Dolphins don't like the cold, but they are playing a lot better.
Yes. All right, we'll go into our sneaks. I'll go ahead and give y'all mine. This is a Friday night game. Iowa will cover 6 versus Nebraska. Iowa's playing really good. They'll finish the year off with a big win. Taylor?
Hold on, let me pull it up. My sneak is just Louisville -4 at Kentucky. I think Kentucky's really bad, and Louisville's got a good offense. So
Mhm.
I know they have a good. Kentucky's got a good defense, but I think Louisville cares about this game more than Kentucky actually right now. In general, in football, I don't think Kentucky gives a shit about Louisville.
Okay, Max.
We got Navy plus 2.5 over East Carolina.
America.
I don't know why they're both 7-3. I just
Hey,
give
this
me
worked.
Navy.
This worked with your UAB pick last week.
Yep.
Yeah, it did. It did
Beat the
actually.
shit out of them.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and give y'all my lock. My lock is Duke -4 versus Wake Forest. Duke has a good team. Wake Forest isn't good. Simple as that. Taylor.
I beat Alex to this Army -7.5 against UTSA. UTSA, I don't really know much about them. I'm gonna be honest. Army's gonna be pissed. Um, Max.
You're up.
Give me Bowling Green -2 at home versus Miami of Ohio.
I believe the winner gets into the MAC championship game. It's a big game. This is also on Friday, so make sure you tune in for Bowling Green at Miami,
Bowling
Ohio.
Green, good team this year.
Underrated, possible playoff contender. We'll have to see. That's it for this podcast. We'll see y'all Friday, but y'all go ahead and try to win some money. And this has been the Weekends Over podcast. We'll see y'all soon.
See y'all.